Good evening, y'all. Welcome back to another edition of the All Cats Everything and Then Some podcast. I'm your host, Deshaun. How y'all doing on this lovely Friday evening? I gotta tell you, we got some snow today. Yeah, I know that really don't sound like nothing, but when you live in Kentucky, like I do, we don't really see snow a lot. So when I see snow, it's just like, oh my goodness, snow! But it was only like an inch of snow, and as I'm speaking right now, most of the snow has melted away. So, I mean, it comes and goes. Every now and then it sticks, but just not this time around. Anyways, enough about the snow. Normally I talk about the Cats first, but instead, I just want to talk about the Super Bowl. Now, if you listened to my last podcast, I predicted that the 49ers would beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. I believe I predicted the score would be like 31-28. Now, the reason why I picked the 49ers was because Super Bowl 54 was a classic matchup between a great offensive team and a great defensive team. Chiefs being the offensive team, 49ers being the defensive team. Well, I mean, I was wrong. Good thing I didn't put any money on this game or I would have lost. I mean, I really thought the 49ers were going to pull it off. And for a second there, it looked like they were going to pull it off. I mean, I honestly don't know why the 49ers stopped doing what... I don't know why they stopped trying to run the ball. I don't know why they stopped doing what worked. Now, I'm not saying run the ball 50 times a game. I mean, don't be like Lynn Bowden and just run the ball every down, but if it works, don't abandon it. That's all I'm saying. It's like San Francisco lost because they abandoned what was working for them. You were winning 21-10, or 20-10, excuse me, 20-10 with 6 minutes left in the game. You picked off Patrick Mahomes twice. You sacked him 4 times in the game. You had it in your hands, and then you let it slip away. But, I mean, this ain't the first time it's happened. I mean, I've seen bigger comebacks, like the Patriots coming back to beat the Falcons when they was down 28-3. Yeah, that was horrible. Now, I'll admit it. I'm a Patriots hater. I don't like them. I'm tired of seeing them win. Plus, they cheat. But, I mean, they pulled it off. They pulled off the epic comeback that was down by 25, and they beat the Falcons. And the Chiefs pulled off, well, it wasn't equally epic, but they was down 21-10, 6 minutes left in the game. They scored 21 unanswered points, and they ended up winning 31-20. I was in disbelief, but I wasn't angry at the outcome. I mean, especially since I didn't bet any money. Because I don't have any angst towards either team, I would have been happy with the outcome regardless. I mean, I was happy for Kansas City. I would have been happy for the 49ers if they would have won the game. But they didn't. And Patrick Mahomes, he won MVP. I'm not saying he didn't deserve it, but I don't know. Maybe Damian Williams should have won MVP. I mean, he had 104 yards rushing, scored a rushing touchdown. He also had a receiving touchdown and 29 yards to the air. I mean, why not Damian Williams? Why does the quarterback get all the glory whenever the team wins? Now, I get it. The quarterback touches the ball more than anybody else on the football field, but a quarterback will only do so well depending on how the rest of his team is. Like, a quarterback's not going to do too much if the rest of his team is doo-doo. But, I mean, that's not the case with the Chiefs, but still, I mean, I'm not complaining. I'm not mad. I'm not saying Patrick Mahomes didn't deserve it, but all I'm saying is Damian Williams was equally worthy. Why not pick him? I mean, let somebody else get the glory for once. I mean, it's not just about the quarterbacks, you know what I mean? But either way, I'm happy for him. But I do got to give a shout out to Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes is the first player to grace the cover of Madden and win the Super Bowl in the same year. Now, this is a big deal because the Madden curse, with Patrick Mahomes winning the Super Bowl, the Madden curse should be over. Because every year it seems like the person on the Madden cover, they either get hurt or they have a mediocre season. Mike Vick graced the front cover of Madden 04. He got injured, broke his leg. I think he played the last 5 games of the season for the Falcons, or he might have missed the whole season. I don't remember. Ray Lewis, he was on the front cover of Madden. He had a subpar year compared to what we were used to seeing out of Ray Lewis. Peyton Hillis, he had a bad year. I think he played with injuries too the year he was on the front cover of Madden. Who else has been on the front cover? Oh yeah, Vince Young. He didn't get hurt, but he had a mediocre season. Tom Brady, he was on the front cover of Madden. I mean, he had a good season, but they didn't win the Super Bowl. Drew Brees, he was on the front cover. He had a good season, but didn't win the Super Bowl. Larry Fitzgerald, he shared the cover of Madden with Troy Polamalu. Larry had a good year, but I don't believe the Cardinals made it to the playoffs that year. And Troy Polamalu, he got injured that year. So yeah, with Mahomes helping the Chiefs get to the Super Bowl and winning Super Bowl MVP, the Madden curse should be over with. You know, I gotta say, I'm excited about what's in store for the 2020 NFL season. Hopefully it'll be a great one. Hopefully it'll result in my Titans winning the Super Bowl. I don't know, but I'm just gonna wait and see what the future holds. Anyways, enough about the NFL. You know, with this being the All Cats Everything podcast, you know I gotta talk about my Wildcats. Yeah, Tuesday night we played against Mississippi State. It was a bounce back game. We played a lot better against Mississippi State than we did against Auburn. We ended up winning 80-72. I gotta say, probably it might have been our best game that we played this year in terms of our Power 5 opponents. Now, we had some blowout victories earlier in the year against Lamar University and Mount St. Mary's and some of these other teams, but December was a long time ago now. I mean, Kentucky's 17-5, so yeah, we're 22 games. 22 games have been played. We got 9 more to go. It's been a long time since we had a blowout win. I wasn't expecting Kentucky to blow out Mississippi State, but we probably could have if we had done some things differently. Now, there wasn't too much I didn't like about that game. I mean, some negatives from that game. We got out-rebounded. Mississippi State grabbed 40 rebounds versus Kentucky's 37. I mean, it was only a 3-rebound difference, but Mississippi State killed us with the offensive rebounds. They had 17 offensive rebounds, whereas Kentucky only had 9. Yeah. We got to rebound the ball better on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, 37 rebounds as a team is still good, but that could have been more points if we would grab some offensive rebounds. And the only other negative I can say about the game is we shot terribly from the 3-point line. We shot 10 3-pointers and we only hit 1 of them. Yeah, that was just absolutely terrible. But thankfully, we played good defense. Thankfully, we made our free throws. Thankfully, everybody chipped in and played their part, and we was able to beat Mississippi State. It was a great game for Nick Richards. He had 27 points, 11 rebounds. E.J. Montgomery also had a great game. Probably the best game he's had in a Kentucky uniform. He had 12 points, 8 rebounds. Ashton was better. He had, let me see here. Yeah, he had 6 points, 6 assists, and a couple steals. He also only had 2 turnovers, which is good because against Auburn, he had more turnovers than he did assists. Tyrese Maxey also played good. Emmanuel Quickly played good. He had 21 points, 14 of which came from the free throw line. Nate Sestina also did pretty good too. He had 6 points. It was a good all-around effort from the team. I loved it. We played better defense against Mississippi State than we did against Auburn. We hustled harder for the rebounds. We played loose. We didn't play scared. The referees, surprisingly, called a fair game. I was like, holy crap. The referees are actually being fair to both teams. Like, this is a miracle. I mean, I'm glad. Now, towards the end, yeah, we did shoot a lot of free throws, but that's mostly because Mississippi State started fouling at the end of the game to stop the clock. We hit 31 free throws and shot 36 of them. Kentucky, surprisingly, is one of the best free throw shooting teams in the country. Now, we may not be great from the three-point line, but if the game comes down to free throws, I believe we can get it done. I really do, because all our key players are shooting at least 70% or better. We don't have anyone that's shooting under. Well, E.J. Montgomery, yeah, I think he's shooting under 50% from the free throw line for the season. I don't know, but as long as E.J. Montgomery isn't at the free throw line in a clutch situation, we'll be fine. Yeah, back to Nick Richards, man, he had a great game. 27 points, 11 rebounds. Might be the best game he's played in a Kentucky uniform. He's been here for 3 years. I gotta say, when Nick first came to Kentucky, I wasn't too hyped about him. I didn't think he was gonna be good. I didn't think it would be as good as like Anthony Davis or Cauley-Stein. Which, yeah, he's not as good as Anthony Davis. He might be just as good as Willie Cauley-Stein, though. Actually, yeah, I would say, well, at least offensively, he is better than Willie Cauley-Stein. Defensively, though, I think Cauley-Stein has the slight edge, but Nick's a good defender himself. When Calipari had said at the beginning of the season that Nick Richards was going to be one of our more important players, I gotta admit, I was a little concerned because Nick really didn't show much of anything his freshman and sophomore year, but he has made one hell of an improvement. If there was an award for most improved player in college basketball, Nick Richards would win it without question. He's one of our top scorers. He's our leading rebounder. He's a great defender. Protects the paint. He defends the pick and roll pretty well. Occasionally, yes, he does have his lapses, but Nick is definitely going to be making some money one day playing in the NBA. I think he'll go middle to late first round. At worst, he'll go early second round, but somebody's going to pick Nick Richards. Don't know who. It'd be nice if my Dallas Mavericks picked him up, but I don't know. For some reason, we don't draft Kentucky players. I don't know, but anyways, it was a great game. Hopefully they'll fix those small issues. If they do, we should have no problem beating Tennessee. Now, even though Tennessee is bad this year, Tennessee is one of our biggest rivals. It don't matter how good or how bad Tennessee is, they always play us tough. Rarely do we blow out Tennessee. Last year, we played Tennessee 3 times. They beat us twice. The first time we played Tennessee, we actually blew them out. Second time, they blew us out. Third time we met, it was in the SEC championship game. They beat us by a few points. But, it doesn't matter. Yeah, they beat us 2-1, but we still made it further in the tournament than Tennessee. That's all. That's what really matters. Yeah, we didn't win the championship, but we didn't get beat in the Sweet 16 like Tennessee, so whatever. Tennessee, they're 13-9. It's going to be a tough game. I believe we're playing at Tennessee, so yeah, hopefully the referees will call a fair game for both teams. If not, they're going to have to really fight for this win, because Tennessee's not going to go down without a fight. They're not. Now, who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Kentucky plays great and blows the crap out of Tennessee. I don't know, but I'm not going to overlook Tennessee. They're not going to be easy. As long as Kentucky comes out with the win, that's all that matters. Hopefully, though, hopefully we fix those small mistakes, because we got 9 games left in the season, and these 9 games are not going to be easy. We got Tennessee twice, including tomorrow. We got Florida twice. We have Texas A&M. We got to play Auburn again. We got to play Vanderbilt, LSU, and I believe South Carolina. I'm not sure. I don't remember. I saw the schedule earlier, but I know it's not going to be easy. Maybe Vanderbilt, well, actually, that probably won't be easy either. Even though Vanderbilt is bad this year, they always play us tough, especially when we got to travel down to Nashville and play in their funky gym. Now, I don't mean funky as in it stinks. The way it's built. It's just weird looking, how their floor is elevated. But anyways, I don't think any of these games are going to be easy. But long as we take care of business, stay out of foul trouble, shoot the three ball a little bit better, we could win the rest of these games and finish the season 22-5. Yeah, 31-5. It's very possible. We just gotta continue to play our hardest. Speaking of rivalries, yeah, Kentucky and Tennessee is a big rivalry, but also this Saturday, the two worst teams in America, Duke and North Carolina, will be playing too. No, I'm just kidding. They're not the two worst teams in America, but I'm a hater. I'm a Duke hater. I'm a North Carolina hater. I hate both of them. I mean, I hate them so much that I cheer for the Louisville Cardinals when Louisville plays Duke or North Carolina. Now, I used to cheer for North Carolina when they played against Duke, but when the NCAA let them off the hook for that academic fraud scandal, it's like, screw both of them. I mean, I wish if there was a way they both could lose, that would be awesome. But since they both can't lose, I probably, if I decide to watch the game, I'll just be cheering for the refs. Because, I mean, at least the referees can screw one of them over somehow, some way. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, forget Duke. Forget North Carolina. I hate both of them. Go referees. All right, enough about college basketball. Shifting gears to the NBA. Now, the NBA trade deadline was yesterday, and there was a lot of trades that happened. The Lakers, surprisingly, didn't make a trade. My Dallas Mavericks, we traded for Willie Cauley-Stein. All we gave up was a couple of second-round draft picks. But I gotta say, the Atlanta Hawks were very busy during this week. For a team that is the worst in the Eastern Conference and second worst in the NBA, they made a lot of moves. I believe they made a trade with the Timberwolves to get Jeff Teague. I had to write these down because it was so many. The Hawks traded Alex Len and Jabari Parker to the Sacramento Kings for Dwayne Dedmon. The Hawks were also involved in a 4-team trade. Now, in that 4-team trade, the Hawks ended up with Clint Capella and Nene, who used to play for the Rockets. The Rockets ended up with Robert Covington, who was with the Timberwolves. The Timberwolves ended up with Evan Turner, Jared Vanderbilt, former Wildcat, Juan Hernangomez, and Malik Beasley. The Rockets ended up with Jordan Bell, but then they ended up trading to Memphis. And the Nuggets ended up with Shabazz Napier, Keita Bates-Diop, Noah Vonleh, and Gerald Green. Yeah, it's a lot to take in. That was a 4-team trade involving 12 players. Like, wow. Again, the Hawks, they were pretty busy for a team that is, I believe, 13-40 or something crazy like that. They're not the worst team in the NBA, surprisingly. The Warriors are the only team that has a worse record than the Hawks, but they're bad. Now, I didn't expect the Hawks to be a playoff team this year, but I didn't think they'd be the second worst team in the league. Like, I don't know what the hell went wrong with them, but they're bad. I mean, Trae Young, yeah, he's averaging 20, I think he's averaging 29, maybe 30 points a game. He's averaging about 9 assists, but the Hawks are still bad. I don't know if it's, maybe he just doesn't have enough help. I don't know. And the only other good player the Hawks have is John Collins. Well, now they got Clint Capella, but I mean, I don't think he's going to make that much of a difference. I mean, with Capella now and the other players they acquired, I mean, they might start winning some more, but they're probably still going to be the worst team in the Eastern Conference once the season is over and done with. Minnesota, yeah, maybe they'll start winning some more games. I don't know. Minnesota, speaking of Minnesota, they also made another trade. They traded Andrew Wiggins, a first-round draft pick, and a second-round draft pick to the Warriors for D'Angelo Russell. Now, me personally, I think this trade works out well for both teams. The Warriors get Andrew Wiggins. The Timberwolves get their man D'Lo. Now, I feel kind of bad for D'Angelo Russell. Like, you could have signed with the Timberwolves during the summer when you were a free agent, but for whatever reason you chose the Warriors, even though they, in the grand scheme of things, they were just going to use you for trade bait. I mean, the Warriors general manager during the offseason was like, "Oh, we didn't sign D'Angelo to trade him, but yeah, so much for that." I mean, yeah, he said they didn't intend to trade him, but if they got an intriguing offer, they might consider it. I guess Andrew Wiggins for D'Lo and those draft picks was intriguing enough. Now, I do believe that Andrew Wiggins will be a better fit in Golden State than D'Angelo Russell, because D'Angelo Russell plays a lot like Curry. He's most effective with the ball in his hands. I mean, he's capable of playing off the ball, but he's at his best when he has the ball in his hands and he can create for himself as well as others. Playing with the Timberwolves will allow him to do that. I mean, I imagine he's going to be dropping dimes to Karl-Anthony Towns and left and right. I mean, him and Towns, they've been good friends since like high school, so maybe the Timberwolves will start winning some more games. But, I mean, it's a little too late to be thinking about playoffs. I don't see the Timberwolves making the playoffs this year. Probably won't make it for the next couple of years. I mean, they need, yes, D'Lo and Towns, they're both young, they're both stars in the making, but Minnesota needs some quality role players to surround Towns and D'Angelo Russell if they want to make some noise. Now, the Timberwolves did get Jacob Evans and Amari Spellman as well from the Warriors when they made that trade for D'Angelo Russell. So they got a few players, plus they got those pieces from the Nuggets. So, I mean, maybe it'll work out. I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Now, Wiggins, though, I mean, Golden State fans, yeah, next year they're going to find, next year when everybody's healthy and the Golden State will be good again, they'll find out for sure whether they're going to love Wiggins or not. I mean, I'm not saying he's bad. He's actually good, but the problem with Andrew Wiggins is he's inconsistent. He might get 20 points tonight, but next night he'll only score like 10 points. Then he'll score 30 points. Then the next night he'll only score 8 points. Like, his inconsistency will drive you crazy. Andrew Wiggins is also, he's not a good defensive player, which is surprising given his size and his freakish athleticism. Wiggins should be a good defender. You're 6'7", you got a wingspan that's almost 7 foot. You can jump out the gym, pretty fast, got good lateral quickness. You should be great defensively. Why is he not great? Hell if I know. Shoot. But I think, me personally, I think D'Angelo Russell is better than Andrew Wiggins. D'Angelo's a better shooter. D'Angelo's a better playmaker. Scoring-wise, I think they're about even. Although both of them are inconsistent, D'Lo is just slightly more consistent. Defensively, neither one of them's great, but hell, neither one of them's average, but I guess Wiggins has the slight edge on defense too. I don't know, but I do believe this trade will work out well for both teams. It'll definitely work out for the Warriors next year, because the Warriors, with everybody healthy, will be back in the playoffs. Now, I don't think they're going to be a championship team with Wiggins. Is he good? Yes, but Andrew Wiggins is not going to put him over the top like Kevin Durant did. And even with all these draft picks, the draft is not a guarantee. For one, every draft is not going to be loaded with talent. And for two, you never know whether the player you draft is going to be great or not. Sometimes they pan out, sometimes they bust. So even though the Warriors stocked up on all these second round draft picks, there's no guarantee that these draft picks are going to pan out. Which, if I'm a Golden State fan, you better be hoping that all these draft picks that you got will pan out, because if not, Wiggins and Curry, Clay, Draymond Green, they're going to have to play some heavy minutes. They're going to have to play each going to have to play like 35 plus minutes a night in order for Golden State to not struggle. And you don't want to over push your starters. You don't want to push them too hard, because that's how injuries happen. That's one of the reasons why the Warriors got beat by the Raptors, because they lacked depth. And then their lack of depth really hurt them when Clay got hurt, and it hurt them when KD was out. So yeah, you hope that these draft picks will pan out, whoever they might be, whoever the Warriors will draft. I don't know. There was another trade I wanted to talk about as well. Detroit traded Andre Drummond to the Cavaliers for Brandon Knight, John Henson, and I believe some second round draft picks. I gotta say, for a star player, yes, in my opinion, Andre Drummond is a star. Maybe not to others, but I think he's a star. I think he would start for most NBA teams. He's the best rebounder, the best rebounder in the NBA. He's good defensively, although he's not consistent. Andre Drummond is a star. I don't think I've ever seen a more lopsided trade for a star player in all my years of watching basketball. I mean, I'm 30 years old. I've probably been watching basketball religiously since I was in junior high school. I've seen players get traded, but I don't think I've ever seen a trade more lopsided than this. Detroit traded Andre Drummond for some scraps. Really? Look, I get it. Andre Drummond is a free agent. You don't want to lose him for nothing, especially since you know he doesn't want to come back. But why would you trade him for scraps, for scrap pieces? Why? John Henson, I mean, he's a decent backup, but I don't think he would start for any team in the NBA. Brandon Knight, I mean, I love Brandon. He played for Kentucky, but Brandon's just not, his NBA career has been nothing but a disappointment. And you got some second round draft picks. I mean, if there's enough talent in the draft, you might be able to get somebody. But if not, I mean, those draft picks ain't going to help you much at all. You trade away the best rebound in the game for nothing. And on Cleveland's end, why would you accept that trade when you're not even certain that Andre Drummond is going to sign with you guys in the offseason? Like, I don't get it. I'm not an NBA general manager, but I just can't imagine. If I was a GM, I don't think I would trade for a player who I'm not certain will want to come back next year when he's a free agent. I mean, Andre Drummond, if Anthony Davis decides to stay in LA, Andre Drummond will be the most sought after free agent when the 2020 offseason starts. I mean, he's a double-double just about every night. He'll get you about 15 points, 15 rebounds. He plays good defense. He's one hell of an athlete, too. Got some long arms. Like, I just don't get it. Like, I've seen other stars get traded, but those trades weren't so lopsided like this trade. When Shaq was unhappy in LA, Lakers traded him to the Heat and got Caron Butler, Lamar Odom, and I think some draft picks in return. Now, yeah, neither Caron Butler nor Lamar Odom is on Shaq's level, but, I mean, they were good players. I saw Memphis trade Pau Gasol to the Lakers. In exchange, they got Marc Gasol and I think some draft picks. Now, nobody knew at the time that Marc Gasol would become an all-star big man and eventually a champion, but it worked out well for both teams. I mean, Marc Gasol led the Grizzlies to the playoffs and helped them through a 7-year stretch where they made it to the playoffs consecutively. Greatest playoff stretch in Memphis franchise history, I might add. What are some other star trades I've seen? Oh yes, in the Utah Jazz, they traded Deron Williams for, I believe, Devin Harris. Now, yeah, it may have seemed one-sided, but they got some good bench players out of the deal. I mean, Deron Williams, he ended up not performing well in Brooklyn anyway, so it worked out. Or I remember when Kyrie was traded to Cleveland, or not traded to Cleveland, excuse me. Kyrie was traded to Boston, and in exchange, Cleveland got Isaiah Thomas and a couple other role players, which that didn't work out well because Cleveland just ended up trading Isaiah Thomas by the deadline. I mean, Kyrie, he had a good little run in Boston, but didn't result in any championships, and now he's playing in Brooklyn. But, I mean, the trade, I mean, it's not like the Celtics are hurting. I mean, they're playing a lot better without Kyrie anyway. And there was another trade. I just had it in the top of my mind, but now I can't remember. But point being, I've never seen a more lopsided trade for a star player. Like I just don't understand. I mean, Detroit, you're rebuilding, but this isn't going to help. This isn't going to expedite the process. That's all I'm saying. But I mean, I'm a Mavericks fan, not too concerned about what the Pistons and Cavaliers are doing. All I know is, I mean, if Andre Drummond does not re-sign with the Cavaliers, I hope he comes to Dallas. I mean, hell, he'd be a nice piece next to Porzingis and Luka. I mean, I feel like if we can get another star player and maybe a couple more quality role players, we could be a championship contender. Now, Andre Drummond is not going to lead your team to a championship, but if you already have a star player like Dallas does, plus some good quality role players around, you add Andre Drummond, he might be enough to put you over the top. So, Andre, you should consider Dallas this offseason if you're not going to re-sign with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Really, please do, Andre, please. All right, y'all. Hope you have enjoyed the rest of y'all Friday. I'm Deshaun. I'm out.